How's it going, everyone, and welcome to the Casting Couch. And in today's video I'm going to be doing a what's in my gym bag challenge. Is that a challenge? I don't actually know. I'll be honest, I never really watch these videos, but a few people have suggested to me that I do one of these for my YouTube, so here we are, we're doing one, and I feel like I've officially jumped the shark, going from coach to cringy influencer, but I am absolutely massive, so I was going to get here at some point anyway. So to help me become even more massive, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, it would help me out massively, and I will repay you with some more top quality videos and content. So this is my Nike bag, probably about 15 years old, literally been all over the world with me. So I'm just going to show you what I have on hand at the gym and what I take to the gym for pretty much every session. Hopefully, if nothing else, you can learn a little something and pick something up that you think that you can take to the gym with you to help you with your training. So I'm going to try and keep this covered over here just to not give away any spoilers. So we're going to start off with the thing that goes in the bag last, because I like to keep them nice and cold, and that is my training drink. So I have got my pre-workout here, that sometimes doesn't make it into the bag because I drink it on the way to the gym. I have got my intro workout, which is basically the drink that I drink during my training to help give me a little extra kick and keep me going. Think Lucozade, Gatorade, except something that actually works and isn't just full of sugar. So this in particular is HR Labs Carb Up, which I highly recommend. And then we have got a little post-training protein shake that I will take with me if I know I'm not going to be eating too long after the gym, if I'm still going to be on the go or I've got something else to do or whatnot. So normally make my own up, but I'm a shaker down just now, so I'm just using the little bottled ones. And on that note, this is Malbona. This is Lidl's own make, which is like, is it 99 pence, 109, 119, something like that. It's basically half the price and the exact same quality as any of your big brands, Grenade, UFit, that type of thing. So highly recommend saving yourself a few quid and getting these as well. Now, onto the actual training equipment. What goes in the top, which is the biggest, is my foam roller. So I know foam rolling is very polarizing and a lot of people swear by it, a lot of people dismiss it completely. I sit more towards swearing by it, but I'm not under any illusions. I know it's not like a miracle cure and it's not doing any of these mental things to my muscles that some people like to make out to be. It just simply makes me feel good, and it's just a wee tool to start to get me eased off before a session starts. Now, it's not going to take the place of like actual doing stretching. You do need to do your proper mobility work on top of this, but this can just, you know, it's a little, effectively it's a self-massager. It's not going to do like loads for you, but it is going to help you out. And for me personally, because I've got my history of back issues, I do like to do a decent bit of foam rolling on my lower back, and it just helps kind of mobilise things before I go into my mobility work, before I go into my actual training. So if you like foam rolling, then great, keep doing it. If you don't like foam rolling, then there's no problem at all, and you don't have to like throw a hissy fit when somebody says they do like foam rolling. Now, next thing we're going for, I've got my small compression cuffs. So these are just what I put on my elbows. They're not like full on sleeves, but they're just good when I'm maybe training a lighter and if I've got a little bit niggly elbows, and I'll put them on and it just gives me a little extra level of support. And likewise, I have got my proper sleeves that I use for all my heavy pressing when I'm going for PBs and stuff like that. And I would suggest, if you are somebody who likes to go and train heavy, and when you are going for PBs and stuff like that, that you put these on. It's not going to do the lifting for you, it's just going to give you that extra little bit of support to help you do the lift, and also just keep your joints safer and, well, effectively safer and healthier. I've also actually got a wee bit tuber grip as well that I'll sometimes put round. I'll maybe just roll up nice and tight and put underneath an elbow or a knee or something like that if it is a little bit niggly, and I've maybe just got a wee small strain, and that just helps alleviate some pressure as well. I have got my wrist straps. So I've actually got two sets of wrist straps. So I've got my sort of everyday wraps, and I put these on when I'm maybe starting to train heavier, maybe not at my absolute max, but they're just quite good. Again, just gives you that extra level of support, especially when you're training heavy. You don't want your wrist to give way or anything, so they're quite handy to have. And I've also got my heavy duty wraps that I like to use because I do low bar squats and have the bar really low down. I like to put that on. I like to put these on because there is a fair bit of pressure on my wrists, and even sometimes on front squats as well, when I'm going heavy, it can be a bit hard on my wrists. So I put my heavy duty wraps on, but I discovered the other day, despite not using them for like 6 months, I've actually lost one, so I'm absolutely flaming, and I had a bit of a breakdown the other night over it and like searched the whole house for it, but I couldn't find it, so normally I have 2 pairs of wraps. It's a bit excessive, you don't need 2 pairs. And then last off the sleeves, I have got my squat, or my knee sleeves for my squats. Now, these are the exact same as your elbow sleeves, but just the one thing I would say is try and go as long as you can with the minimalist amount of equipment you can. So what I'm saying is if you used to do your squats or bench or whatever with nothing, don't just go straight to the big heavy duty wraps, like actual proper wraps that take you in competition from unassisted to assisted. So when you use these, it still classes an unassisted lift because they don't actually produce that much force to help you with the lift. It just kind of helps support your knees and everything and keeps them safe and does give you a wee bit extra. But yeah, don't go from like nothing to the absolute most you can. Try and just work your way up the ladder. So you can even start with like going from nothing to small sleeves to slightly heavier duty sleeves, and then eventually you can graduate to wraps as well. And obviously just if you go from like 0 to 100 straight away, you've not really got anywhere to go after that. And it's obviously important as well that you do strengthen up your actual joints as well as the muscles as well. And obviously the best way to do that is probably train with them naked, unassisted. You know what I mean? I've got my sweat rag here. Normally just like to have a wee towel in my bag because as well as being absolutely massive, I do like to be absolutely handsome and gorgeous as well. So I just like to keep the sweat off my face, and especially in the summer, it gets quite hot and I've not got the best skin if you can't already tell. So I just like to try and keep the sweat off my face. So I keep that in my bag as well, and I make sure to wash it regularly too. Next, I've got my little PB book. So I've had this book in particular, I don't know if you can see that, from 2018, and you could probably go back another 5 years or so, or 6 years of the actual information that's in here. So obviously it's good to track your sessions week to week, and I highly suggest you do that. But then also I like to have my PB book, which I've got all my best reps or poundages or whatever way you want to look at it. And if I want to look, oh, what's the best squats I've done at 170 kilos, I just look on my book and see what I've done at 170, or what's the most I've done with 6 reps or whatever. So this is just all my PB lifts and reps and poundages and that type of thing. And I'm that anal, I've got like every page numbered, and I've got my wee annex of when my leg exercises start, back exercises, etc. I've got my big main exercises at the front as well, so that takes up the first 10 pages. So I've got my wee PB book, and then I also have my belt as well, and I think that's very, very useful. Protecting your back when you're training heavy is obviously always an ideal thing to do, and especially me with my history of back issues, unfortunately I need to train with this on pretty much all the time when I'm doing squats, deadlifts, that type of thing. And I suggest, again, after you train for a good decent belt list and build your core strength up and strengthen up all the muscles around there, it is a good idea to help just push it on a wee bit and keep you safe, to start wearing a belt when you're doing all your big powerlifting sort of movements. So I've got my belt here as well, and then last but not least, I've actually got a pen here that I've just realised now is broken, so I'll not be writing any PBs in my book anytime soon, so I'll need to go and get a new one. And last but not least, I have got my chalk. I just like taking normal chalk. You can get liquid chalk, but it's always good to have on hand because not every gym will have like actual chalk there that you can use. So get yourself a wee rock climbing chalk, a little box of rock climbing chalk, or you can get liquid chalk, whatever, and just have it on hand. Stop your bar slipping when you're trying to hold the bar, is always ideal. Then last couple of little bits and pieces, I have got my TheraBands here that I use to warm up. So I use do a lot of band work for my mobility stuff when I'm getting going, and I just like doing them. I've got a slightly less heavy one, I've got a more heavy one, and I like to incorporate a lot of band stuff into my warm-ups, get everything moving and nice and lubricated before I start training. Again, keeps me safe, preventing injuries. And then very last thing, I have got an old judo belt for doing all my weighted pull-ups and dips and that type of thing. I do have an actual dipping belt, but it's really bad, and I also feel this is quite convenient to take with me as well, because it's obviously smaller, lighter, it takes up less room, and yeah, it's just quite a convenient wee thing to have. And especially, as you can see, I've got a lot of things in this little bag, so I just use that, and yeah, it's pretty decent, apart from sometimes it pulls together and can kind of knot itself a wee bit when you're got quite a lot of weight on pull-ups. So there's a wee bit of a humble brag to finish off the video. So that's what I take in my gym bag. I don't know what you take in your gym bag, but if it helps the algorithm, you can comment below anything that you suggest I can put in mine, or anything you would drop here, which I can imagine that's probably going to be one of the things. So anyway, that's the video. Hopefully you found it useful. If you've got any questions about any of my equipment or anything I've said here, feel free to drop me a message. My coaching inquiry form is also linked in the description as well, so if you're looking for coaching to take your gym progress to the next level, then feel free to let me know. And just make sure to like and subscribe to the video, please. And I think that's everything from me, and I will see you in the next video.